AQ's Blog and Grill.
Hi, and welcome to AQ's Blog and Grill. We have Glen Drummond here today. Glen is the Chief Innovation Officer at Quarry Integrated Communications. And Glen works on a team here called Curve Jump. And we're going to find out a little bit more about what Curve Jump is and how it can help businesses deal with disruption and also create disruption in their categories. Welcome, Glen.
Thank you, Alan.
What is this Curve Jump thing? What's happening with that? What is it?
Curve Jump. It's a consultative solution for organizations that are facing disruption. So typically larger organizations, they've been really successful, starting to feel some headwinds, wondering how to address it. We've got a solution that's wrapped around actionable insight that is tailored for those situations.
But doesn't every organization face those kind of challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, globalization of markets, digitization of the economy, commodification pressure, the experiential shift. There's all sorts of factors that are making this a more and more pressing issue. And the point is that if organizations try and respond to all this by falling back on the formulas for success from their past, they can run into problems in those formulas because the future is pushing them in new directions.
Right. Now, I really like the term or name Curve Jump. Can you tell us a little bit of where did that come from?
Sure. Well, there was a great business book written back in the 90s, and it was addressing the disruption of the digitization of the economy that was taking place at that time. And there was an observation in that book that remains true today, and that is, you know, when you're faced with this disruptive shift, you have a choice of either, you know, following a curve that, you know, is a curve of decline and commodification and ultimately a destruction of shareholder value, or you need to jump the curve to another framework of creating value. Now, if you're going to do that jump, you need to go back and think the customer ahead. You need a fresh resource of customer insight, and one that actually displaces some of the things that were believed about the customer in the earlier instantiation of your business.
Right. And by earlier, is that 5 years ago? 10 years ago? 20 years ago?
It depends on the industry. You know, Peter Drucker wrote a great article called The Theory of the Business, and he talks about General Motors in the 1990s and the way they were the world-striding colossus of the auto industry, but they completely missed the subcompact and they completely missed the minivan.
Right.
And it's because for decades, it was a reasonably stable set of assumptions about segmentation that drove their whole business. It organized their marketing, the structuring of their factories and production and so on. But the differences between the customers that made a difference changed, and they missed that change. And because they missed that change, they were disrupted.
Are there some examples already of people who have done some curve jumping and disrupting?
I think that you look at IBM as an example where, you know, this was an organization that was in the mainframe business. They managed to move out of being in the mainframe business, still keeping that legacy, but really becoming a services company on top of that. And, you know, they've got 400,000 employees around the world. So not bad, you know, that could have gone a different way. If you think about American Airlines, they started to computerize the reservation system. Then they started to lease out that computerized reservation system to their competitors. And for many years, they made more money from leasing out that reservation system than they made from the underlying operation of an airline fleet. So that's I think a really elegant example. We can find in the area of telecom, you know, the layering up of additional services beyond just basic POTS. You know, many organizations have to make these transitions. The issue is that it seems like instead of this being, you know, once a decade or once a career, this is now starting to increase in frequency as the pace of, you know, the curve jumping cycle is picking up.